On July 24, 2025, the professional wrestling world lost one of its most iconic and transformative figures. Terry Gene Bollea, known globally as Hulk Hogan, passed away at the age of 71. His death occurred at his residence in Clearwater, Florida. Emergency medical services were dispatched at approximately 9:51 a.m. after a 911 call reported that Hogan had collapsed and was unresponsive. He was rushed to Morton Plant Hospital, where he was officially pronounced dead at 11:17 a.m. Authorities have confirmed that there were no signs of foul play, and no suspicious circumstances were involved. The cause of death was confirmed by medical sources as cardiac arrest. Hogan had reportedly been dealing with health issues in recent months, including complications related to past surgeries and long-standing physical strain from his in-ring career. While the wrestling community knew about his previous health battles, the suddenness of his passing came as a profound shock. No additional details were immediately released by the family, but his representatives asked for privacy and respect. During this time of mourning, as soon as the news broke, it sent shockwaves throughout the global wrestling community and far beyond. Hulk Hogan was not just a name in wrestling. He was a symbol of an era. Within minutes, tributes began pouring in across social media, wrestling networks, and mainstream news outlets. WWE responded almost immediately. That same evening on Friday Night SmackDown, the company aired a special video tribute package commemorating Hogan's legendary career. The montage featured some of his most iconic moments in the ring and was paired with commentary from wrestling figures who knew him personally. WWE executive and Hall of Famer Triple H described him as the ultimate hero in and out of the ring. Legends across multiple generations came forward to share emotional tributes. Ric Flair, one of Hogan's oldest peers, released a heartfelt message recalling how Hogan stood by him during personal and professional struggles. Flair called him irreplaceable and said there would never be another quite like him. The Undertaker, who had shared the ring with Hogan during some of the most memorable years of WWE, expressed his sorrow, stating that Hogan had redefined charisma and leadership. Kane, Sting, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Triple H all shared memories and reflections on how Hogan helped shape their careers and elevate wrestling to new global heights. One of the most powerful acknowledgments came from Vince McMahon, the man behind WWE's rise to global fame and the individual who positioned Hulk Hogan as the face of the company during the 1980s and early 1990s. McMahon referred to him as the greatest WWE superstar of all time. He credited Hogan's presence, draw, and energy with helping build WWE into the entertainment empire it became. McMahon added that without Hogan, there may never have been a WWE as we know it today. Tributes extended beyond the wrestling ring. Hollywood celebrities, sports stars, and public figures from around the world posted memories and messages. Actor Sylvester Stallone, who appeared alongside Hogan in the 1982 film Rocky III, recalled the charisma and star power Hogan brought, even off-screen. Stallone referred to him as a natural-born showman and said his energy was larger than life. Other celebrities also acknowledged how Hogan's influence stretched across multiple industries, from wrestling to movies to pop culture at large. While legends and celebrities remembered him, fans all around the world mourned him in deeply personal ways. Social media was flooded with artwork, memories, and stories. Hashtags like #ThankYouHogan, #RealAmerican, and #RipHulkHogan were trending for hours across multiple platforms. Fans remembered the excitement of watching him rip his shirt open, hearing his theme music, and shouting his classic catchphrases. Many called him the reason they fell in love with wrestling in the first place. Some shared how they dressed like him as kids, mimicked his poses, and felt inspired by his larger-than-life attitude. In cities like New York, Los Angeles, London, and Tokyo, public spaces lit up with tribute signs. Wrestling schools across the globe held moments of silence. Hogan's influence wasn't limited to an era that spanned generations, but among the many heartfelt tributes that came out that day, one in particular stood out not because it was louder or longer, but because it was real. It was personal. It came from someone who had lived both as a fan and later as a peer in the same ring. That tribute came from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. for Dwayne Johnson. Hulk Hogan wasn't just a superstar, he was a childhood hero. His Instagram post following Hogan's passing, Johnson shared a story that few fans knew. He was just 12 years old in 1984, attending a wrestling event at Madison Square Garden. During Hogan's match against Paul Orndorff, Hogan threw his red Indelo Hulkster headband into the crowd. By chance or fate, that headband landed in the hands of young Dwayne Johnson. Later backstage, Johnson returned the headband to Hogan. Hogan told him something surprising: it was his last headband. But he didn't stop there. He made a promise to the young fan. He said he would get more made and send him a new one. A few weeks later, when WWE returned to MSG, Hogan kept his word. He delivered a fresh set of headbands to the same kid who returned it. That act of kindness left a lasting impact, Dwayne Johnson wrote. That meant the world to that little 12-year-old boy. But that was only the beginning. 17 years later, the same boy stood across the ring from Hulk Hogan in what would become one of the most iconic matches in wrestling history, WrestleMania X8. In Toronto, in the year 2002, it was billed as Icon versus Icon. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Generational greatness clashing on the biggest stage of them all. In his tribute, Johnson reflected on that moment. He specifically mentioned the crowd's reaction when Hogan kicked out of the Rock Bottom, the Rock's finishing move. Johnson said the roar from the audience was something he had never experienced before. The energy wasn't just loud, it was electric. It wasn't for him, it was for Hogan. He wrote, "That historic crowd reaction was all for you." Then he added words that captured the respect he carried in his heart. "You may have passed the torch to me that night, but you drew the house, brother. Thank you for the house." In wrestling terms, drawing the house means bringing the crowd, filling the seats, being the attraction that sells the arena. It's a compliment, not lightly given, and one that carries deep respect in the industry. Johnson's tribute wasn't about self-promotion. It wasn't even just about memory. It was a public thank you for a gesture made to a boy in 1984. And for a stage shared in 2002, it was a recognition of legacy, mentorship, and humanity. He ended the message by saying, "From deep in my bones, and on behalf of this wild and crazy world of professional wrestling that we love, I say to you now and forever, thank you for the house, brother. Rest in peace, Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan." This message touched fans around the world not just because of who said it, but because of how it was said. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't polished, it was real. It came from someone who had lived both as a fan and a global icon. Someone who could relate to the emotions of millions mourning across the world. For many, The Rock's words offered the perfect closure final thank you from one generation to another. His tribute captured the essence of what Hogan meant to fans, to fellow wrestlers, and to the history of the sport. It was a reminder that beyond the lights, the belts, the merchandise, and the fame, what lasts are the moments of connection. A headband shared in 1984, a handshake after WrestleMania, a heartfelt farewell in 2025. Hulk Hogan's passing is not just the end of a life, it's the end of a chapter in professional wrestling. A chapter defined by energy, color, charisma, and passion. His legacy is cemented not just in the number of matches or titles, but in the millions of lives he inspired, from the fans who wore the yellow and red to the children who dreamed big. Two future superstars like Dwayne Johnson, who grew up to share the same ring with their hero. In his tribute, The Rock didn't try to overshadow. He didn't try to glorify. He simply said thank you, and in doing so, he gave voice to what millions around the world were already feeling. Hulk Hogan may no longer be physically present, but his impact remains permanent. The arenas he sold out, the children he inspired, the athletes he mentored, the legends who now carry his memory forward. As Dwayne Johnson put it best, thank you for the house, brother. Back in peace.